have about 1,500 volunteers throughout our park system.
They memorize the chemical composition of the water, so they will go back to wherever they're released.
Why don't I create a playground just for them?
Hi, I'm Candice Ng, and you're watching The Sustainable Region. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the 1,500 people who don't officially work in the park system, but who are integral to its success. We're talking about volunteers. In Metro Vancouver lingo, they're known as park partners, and without them, our parks, quite simply, wouldn't be the same. It's early one Saturday morning in spring, and more than 100 people are boarding buses, heading to Minikata Regional Park in Coquitlam. But today's event is no ordinary walk in the park.
We have only 2 hours, it's a little bit tough.
These folks are all volunteers in Metro Vancouver's regional park system. They're called park partners.
That's the high knoll up there, and there's a nice bluff. Just don't slip over the cliff there.
And today's tour of Minikata is one of 2 annual thank yous for their contributions.
We have about 1,500 volunteers throughout our park system, and they contribute about 30,000 hours of volunteer contributions each year. It's wonderful to see them in action.
Many of these volunteers are members of the 7 park associations in the system so far. They act as stewards of their regional parks. They're a way for dedicated park goers to meet, plan activities, educate the public, raise funds for special events, and recruit new members and volunteers. Why do they do it?
I volunteer so that I can get active in my community, I can get volunteer hours, and it just gives me the experience in the environment that I wanted, so that I know how I can make a difference through my life, and so that it will impact the environment.
And many say it's for the people.
I adore it because of the people that I meet and the friendships that you concur with the different volunteers. And it's just fantastic. Anybody, if they've got a few hours of time, volunteer, because you meet wonderful people.
Let's keep on going.
The park partners, the volunteers themselves, are very passionate about regional parks. They love to be around people, they like to advocate for the parks, they like to bring other people into the parks. And I think that's really laying out that social fabric that the region enjoys in the green space and in the communities.
Colony Farm, the host of Midsummer Fete, is home to one of the original park associations started by Metro Vancouver back in 1996. 4 different groups with a common interest in the area work together on various projects. The most visible one being to set up what is now a very large and flourishing community garden.
Oh, there you go.
At Pacific Spirit, the Park Association has been the driving force behind the restoration of the Camosun Bog.
The volunteers, especially in this park, play a huge role, along with the Metro Vancouver partner, in maintaining this incredible wilderness park and helping people to appreciate nature and to recreate responsibly and to help to restore some of the natural habitat.
And here at Minikata, the Park Association is not only helping host today's tours, but it's also very involved in many other events, such as Art in the Park, one of Metro Vancouver's regular events promoting the connection between the arts and nature.
Every park system relies on a strong volunteer base. And for Metro Vancouver and the park's function, the volunteer program is essential to the delivery of services and programs.
And even with 1,500 volunteers, there's still room for more. If you want to get involved in a regional park, go to metrovancouver.org or call 604-432-6200. City life can be hectic, but it doesn't have to be. An escape is nearby in Metro Vancouver Regional Parks. Peaceful, relaxing, restorative. With 21 regional parks in Metro Vancouver, there's a place in nature for you. Go to www.metrovancouver.org to find a regional park program near you. Welcome back to the Sustainable Region and our look at the park partners who make such a difference in our parks. A lot of what they do is what you might call sweat equity, spending hours on end pulling invasive weeds and replanting native plants. But some of what they do can't be done without money, and that's where the Pacific Parklands Foundation comes in. You might not have heard of it, but what it does is absolutely vital. Catching the Spirit is a program that gives hundreds of young people the chance to attend environmental stewardship and leadership camps. It's one of the many groups that depends on the non-profit organization known as the Pacific Parklands Foundation for its very existence.
Pacific Parklands Foundation is committed to raising $100,000 for us every year. So that's, what is that, 60 to 65% of our annual budget.
The fundraising campaign is spearheaded by this woman, Pacific Parklands Director Denise Coots.
Fundraising for the Catching the Spirit program is kind of the backbone of our organization. Most of the corporate partners really like anything that's around youth leadership, teaching them social responsibility skills, teaching them environmental stewardship opportunities, getting them hands-on into the park.
Pacific Parklands Foundation is one of Metro Vancouver's best kept secrets, and that they do so much for us. Without them we wouldn't exist. Yet I'm not sure how many people know not only that they're out there, but what they do.
Just like that. Just like that. You got it.
Coots has developed a unique expertise in finding people and corporations who are willing to put money into Metro Vancouver's regional park system in general, and the Catching the Spirit program in particular.
With our fundraising and Metro Vancouver support, we're able to provide this program free in the 4 regional parks. And so kids are able to come in and get a really fantastic, life-changing experience.
How about we all give ourselves a gigantic round of applause for achieving.
But it's not just Catching the Spirit that benefits.
We only look after the regional park system. We're dedicated to it. We work very closely with all the volunteer groups. So most of the regional parks have a great dedicated volunteer group of people. They've got the expertise and the ability to roll up the sleeves and get into the trenches and do a lot of work that just wouldn't be able to be done otherwise.
The Park Association at Campbell Valley is a typical example.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, and pull.
The Campbell Valley Nature House featured an overgrown garden that needed an overhaul. Not a huge priority for Metro Vancouver, so the Park Association turned to the Pacific Parklands Foundation for help.
It's very difficult to get funding outside of the park itself for projects like this, so it was very nice to have the contribution from Pacific Parkland Foundation. And we asked for a grant so that we could do this garden project. Pacific Parkland Foundation contributed $5,000 and it was matched by Metro Vancouver Parks East Area. We were really excited about it. We couldn't wait to get on the ground and get the plants organized, deciding what we wanted to plant and where and why, and it was really exciting.
At Burnaby Lake Regional Park, it was PPF funding that made this wildlife viewing platform possible. One that's designed to be accessible to everyone. The Pacific Parklands Foundation raised $170,000 towards this project through its network of corporate donors.
When PPF gets a donation of $25,000, we're able to turn it into 2 or 3 times that amount by being creative and innovative in our partnerships and relationships. So we can take that little pot of money and then go to others and try and say, if we've got this money, what are you able to do as part of your ongoing budget?
Check out the Pacific Parklands Foundation's new website at pacificparklands.com to find out more about this unique organization and how it contributes to the enjoyment of our regional parks. Do you like having fun outdoors? Looking for volunteer opportunities? Want to learn something new? The winter hibernation is almost over, so start planning your spring fun for the Check It Out Spring Guide. The Check It Out Guide is here to bring you fresh ideas to get you fresh air. With over 70 events and programs featured, Check It Out is your one-stop shop for fun this spring. Loads of free quality events and programs are available. Come and explore our parks in style. Enter to win this one-of-a-kind handcrafted twisted cedar walking stick. Call us at 604-436-6794 or email us at sustainableregion@metrovancouver.org and tell us which park is your favorite and why.
Metro Vancouver is a region defined by its geography. Here, the densest urban population in British Columbia is intermingled with fertile farmland, before bumping up against the mountains and rainforests along its northern edge, and the Pacific Ocean on its western edge. It is a region of immigrants. Home to 2.4 million people, Metro Vancouver is ethnically diverse with English, Chinese, and Punjabi as the three dominant language groups. And the region's economy is equally diverse, from the high-tech sector to natural resources, and its role as a North American gateway to the Pacific Rim. Metro Vancouver is a confederation of 24 local authorities and provides core utility services, drinking water, sewage and drainage, and solid waste management, as well as regional planning and political leadership. Metro Vancouver has long had a strong environmental imperative for its operations. But in 2002, a profound institutional shift occurred when a formal commitment to a sustainable future was made. Embracing the complexity this implies, Metro Vancouver recognized the need to engage on a multitude of fronts, not only as a utility provider, but as a catalyst for change. This goes beyond simply striving for better ways of performing the same actions, and instead demands achieving a deep-seated cultural shift. Metro Vancouver's commitment to a sustainable future for its region recognizes the simple fact that sustainability is a global concept, that our futures are dependent on each other.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Region. We are here in Kanaka Creek Regional Park in Maple Ridge, and if you've never been here before, it's definitely worth a visit. One of the attractions is the hatchery, run by a park partner called Keeps, and Education Coordinator Ross Davies is here with us to tell us more. Thanks for being with us, Ross.
It's a pleasure.
Now, before we get to our story about the recent Keeps event, tell us what Keeps stands for and what it does.
Well, it's called Kanaka Education and Environmental Partnership Society. It's a collection of dedicated volunteers that have been, in some cases, over 2 decades, continued commitment. And we've taken advantage of the Park Partnership Program, and which we think of as a portal for passion to get individual talents and passions onto the ground, not only at the hatchery, all through the watershed and our school programs. It's an amazing ride which continues.
Great, thanks a lot, Ross. Now let's learn a bit more about Keeps and take a look at their annual springtime event called Goodbye Chums.
Say bye to your fry.
Bye.
Good luck.
Really quiet. Being a falcon, they're a little bit
My only sunshine, I make you happy.
It's a celebration of the little chum fry that we'll have the public release into the creek, and they can head on their way to the sea. And then we have a whole bunch of things surrounding that we're doing as well in honor of this great event.
What do you think? Thank you.
Oh, no, fishes!
By the time kids are getting off school for the summer, they'll be in Georgia Strait. They will eventually be out towards the international date line and coming back in either 2013 or 2014.
And say goodbye to your chum fry. Bye.
And as soon as these fish are in the creek, they memorize the chemical composition of the water, so they will go back to wherever they're released.
What are they going to eat other than bugs? There's got to be something.
Well, the hatchery raises coho and chum salmon and pink salmon in odd years. It takes about 5% of the wild population only. It's just meant to top up the carrying capacity of the watershed. So our fish are never more than one generation away from wild. And it's a huge educational tool for the public as well. This has been going on since 1983, a partnership between the Save the Salmon Society and Metro Vancouver, which was GVRD at the time, got together and started it up. Got about 55 members, lots of dedicated volunteers. Most of them are here today.
Water, let it fill up with water, then tilt the bucket up and then release your fish. Okay, now take the bottom, like what I'm doing here, and you
What's really encouraging is the youth we have here, not just today, but at all times of the year. So it's not only a very good team, it's a young one too.
We have this wonderful partnership with Keeps, and what they do is not only do they provide environmental education here, but they actually do a tremendous amount of outreach in the community as well, and they're monitoring fish and helping to run the hatchery and all sorts of events around the community, and they take out a message of stewardship about the environment. Right on board with what Metro Vancouver does.
Daily life can be the same old, but it doesn't have to be.
This wildlife tree behind us?
Discoveries are nearby in the park programs of Metro Vancouver Regional Parks. Informative, inspiring, rewarding. Dozens of park programs are scheduled all year in Metro Vancouver's 21 regional parks. Go to www.metrovancouver.org to find a regional park program near you. Welcome back to the Sustainable Region and our visit to Kanaka Creek Regional Park. Park associations do a lot in our regional parks, but there are also other individuals and organizations who do valuable work as well. For instance, at Boundary Bay Regional Park, the local Rotary Club decided to focus its efforts on making the park a better place for children of all abilities.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today celebrating this wonderful playground.
It's Boundary Bay Regional Park's newest feature, a state-of-the-art playground that's accessible to all. And it wouldn't be here were it not for the efforts of a park partner, the Tsawwassen Boundary Bay Lions Club.
It just occurred to me one day that I was watching some kids in wheelchairs, and they were handicapped children, and I was thinking, what do they have to play with? And then I thought, well, why don't I create a playground just for them?
Events like Pancake Breakfast help Lions Clubs raise money for worthwhile projects, and they're good at it. The Tsawwassen Boundary Bay Group raised $150,000 and arranged the remaining funding through various levels of government.
This $400,000 playground is a significant project, and the projects like this cannot be achieved without the help of many, many people. What a team, ladies and gentlemen, putting this together.
The playground began taking shape under the watchful eyes of Lions Club volunteers. Everything on this equipment is designed to be accessible to children using wheelchairs.
Where are you going to go, just down over there? You can tell in the expression on her face when she watches other children play and she couldn't kind of run up and join. And so, you know, you try to just mitigate that by carrying her, but she's getting heavier and heavier as the years go by, and it's not as easy. Play is such an important part of being 5, and for her to come here and just be included and be able to go in her wheelchair, nothing is inaccessible, and she can do it by herself.
Any opportunity where we can bring together kids, all kids, to play together, learn together, have fun together, exercise together, is a terrific opportunity, because of course the kids of today, like all these cute little faces I'm looking out at, are our future for tomorrow, and we're really teaching about community and about working together and about respecting differences.
The nice part for me is to see children in wheelchairs and those who are disabled to come and start using and learning how to use it. I will guarantee you that you watch children able and the disabled who will learn to play together, and in time they will just be kids.
The Boundary Bay Tsawwassen Lions Club focuses its fundraising efforts on projects that benefit both the youngest and the oldest in our society.
Today you are joining the most distinguished group. You are now a Melvin Jones Fellow, and I congratulate you.
As park partners, the Lions Club gets full credit for helping make things happen that otherwise might not be possible in an era of tight budgets. Welcome to Boundary Bay Regional Park in South Delta. Think your commute is crowded? Try being a bird at Boundary Bay. More than 1.5 million birds and 225 species from 10 countries use this park each year. Conveniently located halfway between Siberia and South America, this park is part of the Pacific Flyway, a chain of wetlands that forms North America's most popular migration route. What makes Boundary Bay such an avian destination? Why, proboscis worms, megalops, and the elusive ghost shrimp, of course. These little critters and other invertebrates living in the tidal flats make up a bird buffet. Created by the mighty Fraser River, these mudflats also provide shelter from harsh storms. Boundary Bay also has meadow, beach dune, eelgrass, and salt marsh terrain, providing diverse nesting and hunting grounds for a variety of species. But Boundary Bay isn't just for the birds. It's got beaches, multi-use trails, and picnic areas. It's also mostly wheelchair accessible. So whether you're birding, biking, or beaching, come on down to Boundary Bay in South Delta. Welcome back to our episode about Metro Vancouver's park partners. There are 7 regional parks fortunate enough to have formal park associations, and among the largest of these is the group at Burnaby Lake. Here's a look at just a few of the things they get involved in. It's the first thing people see when they arrive at Burnaby Lake, a beautiful butterfly garden planted and lovingly maintained by members of the Burnaby Lake Park Association. But that's not all. BLPA volunteers also monitor and maintain hundreds of nest boxes around the lake.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 membranes.
5 membranes?
Yeah.
Joe Sadowski has been involved with the Park Association since it began. He's been enjoying bird life on the lake for more than 40 years. Volunteering is his way of giving back.
The basic reason that I volunteer is because this is an area of great interest to me, and it's a need.
It's a lot of fun actually, because it's just really nice to be able to come down and find out what's going on in the park, which is, I live just on the other side of the park, and just to sort of sense of we can actually help the wildlife here too, which is really nice.
Coming in and helping out and giving back into our community is an important. It's meaningful to me.
Plastic bags and then dump them in the truck so we'll haul them out.
Okay.
BLPA volunteers are also often seen on the park's trails, but they're not there for a leisurely stroll.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our weed busting party. Thanks so much for giving up your Sunday afternoon.
I grew up around here, so I have an attachment to this park, and I think
think it's really nice if there's something I can do to help maintain the park and the integrity of the species which live here.
Volunteers are key to making Weed Busters happen. It's their initiative to help protect the park. The Burnaby Lake Park Association is a driving force in making this happen, and it's their man hours that really, and hard work and sweat and sometimes a little bit of blood if they get too close to the brambles, that really make this happen.
Another load bites the dust. It's good exercise, lots of fresh air, and helps out the park a little bit, I guess, if you keep at it. But with the way this stuff grows, you got to keep coming back year after year.
Weed Busters are out pulling invasive species on a regular basis between March and October, and their efforts are not inconsequential. During this 3-hour weeding session, the crew removed 610 kilograms of purple policeman's helmet.
I'm really proud of these volunteers. We are very fortunate to have a community around Burnaby Lake that cares about this place and wants to ensure that this is accessible to people for many more years.
Not only cares about it, but cares about it enough to put in endless hours of free labor. Pulling weeds, tending bird boxes, taking care of the garden, and generally contributing in a positive way to the outdoor experience at Burnaby Lake. Welcome back, and thanks for taking the time to learn about Metro Vancouver's Park Partners. There's so much more we could tell you, but that's all the time we have for now. Let us know what you think about today's show, or tell us what you'd like to see in future episodes.